This episode of the podcast is brought to you by our partner, Audible.
Yes, it is. So we are partnered with Audible. That means that if you are looking just to check it out, you don't want to put your card in and just take the dive. You can get 30 days for free on us. If you go to audibletrial.com/JATG or click the link down below, you'll be taken there. You can sign up for 30 days for free and just test it out. Like there's a lot of stuff on there that you can get for free, a lot of Audible exclusives. But what I really like about Audible is that out of the hundreds and thousands of audiobooks that they have, if you decide to purchase something, that is yours forever. Like if you decide not to carry on your subscription or you want to take a break or whatever it is, you can always go back and listen to that book whenever you want through the app on the internet. Doesn't matter because it's yours. So once again, you can get that for 30 days for free on us if you go to audibletrial.com/JATG.
Podcast is going on. Johnny the Greg, I am back. I don't know if I'm well, but whatevs. Show must go on.
Yeah, you had some well wishes when I made that.
Yeah, that was really sweet, actually.
Johnny threw his back out.
Wasn't exactly expecting you to actually put that I had my back thrown out. I was expecting you just.
Oh, it's fine. How did you do that? Like, because keep in mind, we saw each other yesterday, and when I left, you were fine.
Yeah, I wasn't.
You weren't?
No, I took a cue from my tough ass wife. Like 2 weeks ago, it was out of the 10 or 12 reps of a deadlift, I decided to relax on one because it felt light.
Yeah.
And what I mean by relax is like I didn't engage my core to lift it up, and I relaxed it, and I felt this little ting, and I went, okay.
Yeah.
I can keep pushing, but I think maybe I should back off. And so I did. And then a week went by and I felt great. And so I hit a workout that was pretty heavy again. And that's when it went yank. And I went,
okay.
All right. And then everything, it was tough going for about 4 days. And after that, it felt great. I mean, you saw me Saturday. I had my little girl on my shoulders. Yeah. I was no issues whatsoever. And then I sat down for breakfast, and all of a sudden it started tightening on me, and I didn't know what happened. I thought maybe I've heard of people where they pull a muscle sneezing.
Mm-hmm.
I sneezed twice when we first sat down, and then from there on, it just started getting worse and worse. And what I mean by worse, I just mean tight and tight and tight and tight and tight. And it lasted all through the day also through the night where I couldn't sit up. Like I couldn't be in this position. So I've actually gotten better. I'm in this position now. I could not do it last night. There was no way. And I thought, well, I'm just going to load up on pills and alcohol, which is probably a really bad combination. And it hurts to laugh right now.
Yeah.
It actually hurts to breathe. But I know what it is. It's something that has happened in my body before, and you've had a lower back injury, right? You fucked yourself up like in junior high, right? Or not junior high school.
Well, it was essentially years of bad training and stuff like that,
right?
Which did it. But I understand what you're saying. Like you just sit down and you're like, oh, that felt weird, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse, and then all of a sudden you can't move and you're like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, so it's frustrating because it wasn't like I like sitting having breakfast shouldn't be pushing it. You know?
Right. Yeah.
And I had nothing told me the night before that something was coming. Like there was no warning signs. I felt great. I felt fine.
Huh.
Okay. All of a sudden.
It makes a little bit of sense because even like when we right before we left, like it was getting to be time to go. And I could just tell you were like, yeah, like I'm like, they want to finish their day. They've got stuff they want to do. We should leave.
Oh, so no, I was in pain.
Yeah, that was when I got up and I was like, hey guys, time to go.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to push you guys out if we did.
No, but I was just like, yeah, we should probably go.
Yeah, I was like, fuck that, I can't find a place to get comfortable.
Huh.
And then it's hard to, okay, look, for those of you who have not listened to this podcast long enough, if you haven't subscribed to it right now, that'd be helpful. Fight her. My wife is like, she's like, God damn it, that's Jason Bourne. That's my wife. So
yeah,
I can't complain if she's delivering kidney stones.
mm-hmm.
I don't feel like I can complain about back pain. You know what I mean? If she's hosting and she's delivering kidney stones as she's hosting, I feel like I can't complain about back pain. So I didn't really say anything. I just started doing a heat pad, cold pad, stretches, medicating myself, things like that. So whatever.
Well, and that's, I mean, honestly, we're a little late tonight because I didn't think you wanted to be on tonight. And I was like, oh, I bought me a Lego set that I'm going to build. So
what'd you buy?
I bought an Optimus Prime.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Did you see that thing I sent you on Instagram?
He's going to go right here.
Wait, a head? Just a head?
No, it's the full, like he's articulated.
Nice. Did you see that Instagram photo I sent you, or video I sent you, where that girl's in high heels and he goes, Autobots transform, and she goes,
when you say high heels, she was in like these like Halloween store platforms.
Yeah.
Like
and she could not walk in them, so she took a tumble.
She fell down.
Took a tumble. Hey man, do you know what happened this weekend?
What?
Besides what we did, the NBA All-Star game was played.
I did see a touch of that. Like when we were out for dinner, it was on.
Reason I brought that up,
yes,
is because that hasn't been on my radar in years, and I was wondering, when you and I were growing up, like junior high, high school, that was a big deal, right?
Well,
or not for you?
It's certainly not for me because I didn't follow basketball that closely.
Okay.
But I remember.
I mean, that was a slam dunk contest, and
that I remember. I remember the slam dunk.
That's when it mattered.
I remember there being and that's what we want to see. I didn't give a shit about the game. I mean, the All-Star game, like that.
Unless I'm wrong, and people that are listening right now, do we have anybody listening? I haven't pulled up.
No, not right now.
Nobody knows we're going on.
It's a weird time around.
That's okay. I don't remember. I remember it like that was back in the day. I felt when All Stars looked at it as, okay, I'm with a group of my peers that are considered the best of the best.
Yeah, they're like the elite. Yeah,
I'm going to prove I'm the elite of the elite.
Mm-hmm.
So they cared more. Now it's like they get together. The last thing they want to do is play a game.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel like I just remember like thinking, I don't know when that was for you for the Pro Bowl and for the NBA All-Star game, but when did you stop caring about those things?
I never cared about
those. You never cared about the Pro Bowl?
No, never cared about the Pro Bowl. Never watched it. I can't think I've watched a single Pro Bowl game ever.
Ever? Really?
No. Well, no, because it was, my dad always said, this is dumb. This is people just that are going to get hurt. Like,
yeah, it doesn't make sense for football for sure.
Right. I mean, and so that was never a thing. Basketball, like the dunk contest was fun to watch because that was exciting. And the 3-point, wasn't there a 3-point contest?
3-point contest.
That was exciting to watch, but like the actual game, it was just another basketball game with a bunch of guys that I mostly didn't know. Like, because I didn't follow that closely. I mean, I knew who the Bulls were at that point because they were like the super team, and it was the closest, not the closest we had to a professional team. It was the closest I had to a good professional team because the Bucks were trash.
Yeah, they weren't that good back then. Yeah.
So that was, I mean, Chicago was more of the home team than Milwaukee was at that point.
Right. It makes sense. I was a big basketball fan in the 90s, obviously, because I'm a Bulls fan. I still am a Bulls fan. But during the 90s, we were the Beatles. I shouldn't say we.
Yeah.
The Bulls were the Beatles. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
So like I paid attention to all that because I just remember it was so different. Like the All-Star games like would finish 98 to 97 because they were playing.
Yeah.
Like they cared. And now it's like I think the last All-Star game, I could be wrong. I think it was 159 to 147.
Wow.
Like Jesus Christ. Like did
no,
anybody
no
play
one's,
defense?
Yeah, nobody. There's nobody at all.
Did anybody give a shit at all, or were they just all just running up and down the court shooting around? Like, and I just remember because I listen to sports radio. I listen to podcasts and sports radio. I don't really listen to the music. Yeah. So I couldn't tell you what's popular music wise, but I just remember everybody saying like, if they cut out all of the All-Star games, would you care? That was the big question today. And I don't care. No. I wouldn't miss it a damn thing. I don't even watch it if it happened. It's
with the weird. NFL.
Yeah.
It's because it's flag football now, right?
Yes. It turned into flag football.
Which to me is like, okay, that's an interesting twist. Because here's what I would do. Like if I had to remake the All-Star game, I would say it's not 5-on-5. You're doing 3-on-3. It is get your teams together. Like,
interesting. Okay, I
see it make it almost like a backyard.
Yes,
street, but not street ball. Like it's going to be street ball, but but make it like no, it's 3-on. We're going to do a 3-on-3 tournament, and you guys get your teams together and see what you can do, and whatever data point you can make.
Yeah.
Like some sports nerds, like fantasy guys out there would have this where it's like, you can't
like a 3-on-3 tournament. You're thinking?
Yeah. Like make it a 3-on-3 tournament. And don't have it in the middle of the season when people are still chasing championships. Right.
Yeah.
Like don't do that. Make it after the season's over. Kind of like the NFL does. And then you have a 3-on-3 tournament. You know, you put a player where you're ranked a 4-3-2-1 and you can't have more than 8 points on your team. Get your teams together.
And what do you think about just 1-on-1?
Maybe. Yeah, that might be fun.
And but then you have like a kind of a Royal Rumble where it just is bracket one-time game to 11.
Yeah. That would be cool.
See who the number one All-Star is.
What was because we were just talking wrestling yesterday.
Yeah.
King of
By the way,
Ring.
people, Greg, I had the Struley family down in Chicago. We went to go see the Harry Potter. I don't know what the hell that was.
It's called like the magical experience of Hogwarts.
Okay, magical. Okay,
whatever. Yeah, it was.
And I think it was. Oh, go ahead. Before we go into that.
Before we go into that, I mean the basketball. Make the old King of the Ring, where it was like you start off with 2 players and then another one, and make it like the game to whatever. What was it?
Was there something in gym called knockout or
lightning? Yeah, it was like there was lightning and then there was 21 where it was just like you just keep track of your own points or like
21 was awesome. I remember 21. Was it? I love 21.
It was like every man for himself.
Hustle. They called it hustle. Whoever got the 21 first won.
Yeah, but like every
that
man
would be
himself.
Fun.
Like that would be fun. That would be that would be.
Yes, because it's you versus 5 or how many people are on the court. You probably have to limit it to 5. You know, and then it had to be a timed thing where like, because I think there's 15 All-Stars per conference. I don't know. And we're just talking NBA, by the way.
Yeah.
I think that would be more interesting. See who lives.
Would be. It would be like make
and then the winner of the East and the West face off on a 1-on-1 competition.
And I think you would probably have kids give a shit a little bit more. Like
maybe
the pros are playing the backyard game that we play at lunch hour.
Yes.
And watch them do that.
That's a great idea, Greg. That's you know what's awesome about that? It came from a guy, and don't take this the wrong way, who's not really a diehard NBA fan.
Not at all. Not at all.
I am not either, by the way. When it stopped in like 2003, I stopped really giving a shit.
Yeah. I gave a shit. I will start to pay attention at playoffs.
Right.
To see how far the Bucks go.
Yes, actually, that's my adopted team now because the Bulls suck.
Yeah,
my adopted team is and I it's because I actually like the way they play. Besides Grayson Allen, where I think somebody should hit him with a tire iron. But I appreciate that because I appreciate your star, Giannis.
Yeah, Giannis.
I appreciate that guy because he could have gone to LA. He could have gone anywhere and made a ton of more money and everything that goes outside of basketball. But he decided to stay to Milwaukee because Milwaukee believed in him before maybe he believed in himself.
Maybe, yeah.
And so he rewarded him for that. And so I always root for the Bucks. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And it was fun. Like I was going to establishments to watch the playoff games when they won the NBA championship. And I remember like watching that last game. I'm like, there was like 30 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
And I was more than a couple beers in at that point. Yeah. And I was like, holy shit, they're going to win.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
Have you seen every one of your major sports teams win a championship?
I've never seen the Brewers win a World
Series. Didn't they win in 82?
I wasn't paying attention in 82.
Right.
So I'm not going to count that.
Right.
So no, not every single one, but certainly growing up with the Bucks playing how they did.
Yeah.
I thought I would never
see that.
Never in my lifetime did I think the Bucks would win an NBA championship.
And then here you go.
And then boom, there it is.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's kind of weird how it catches up on you. Like I didn't think the Cubs would ever win.
And I don't think a lot of people thought they would ever win.
And I remember when the White Sox won. I remember when the Bears won. I remember when the Blackhawks won 3.
Yeah, I remember the Blackhawks won them.
Yeah. So I've been lucky enough to see at least one in every major sport in the Chicagoland area to win a championship.
Cool.
That even accounts for the WNBA.
Oh, really?
Recently. Yeah, they won one recently. Anyway, this isn't about sports, folks. I just wanted to bring up the All-Star game because it did. And here's the other thing I wanted to attach to the All-Star game. You can tell that the players that are at the All-Star game, they don't care. No. And when they don't care, you tend to not give a shit.
I think it's the same idea of like
the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, well, not even the Pro Bowl. I mean, at least the Pro Bowl, like it's done. Like their season's done. The only thing that could happen is if they bust up a knee or an ankle or something, they'd have to still be healing next season. I mean, that's going to affect their next season.
Right.
Where, I mean, if you're playing in the All-Star game and you're playing as a basketball player, you're like, hey, I got our arrival in next week or next weekend or whatever it is. I don't want to go too hard and risk hurting myself.
Right.
So yeah, that's why I think it's if your sports season is so damn long that you have to take an all-star break, your season is too damn long.
Yeah, that's true. True that. I will admit, I will listen to that. Hey, did you hear what's going on with the Major League Baseball?
No.
They're doing something I think I might actually watch to see if I actually start enjoying baseball. They're doing a pitch clock.
I've heard of that.
I don't know how long it is.
Like in the past, I have heard that like, hey, we need to speed this game up. Like it's going to be a thing.
Yes.
And I've heard the concept of that brought up. It was a couple of years ago. And I was like, I'm down for it because it's a slow game.
Well, some guy, Theo Epstein. Okay. For those of you who are not baseball fans, I just want you to picture this guy who has no baseball background in terms of him playing or coaching was put in charge of the Red Sox back in the day and made them into world champions. Then he went.
Did they make a movie about him? Was that
not yet? They will. Okay. Then he went to the Chicago Cubs and made them world champions. So Theo Epstein took two franchises that are beloved. And they were called like the lovable losers, both of these franchises, turned them around into world champions. So the guy knows what he's doing. He is now in charge of making, I don't know what the official title is, but he's in charge of making baseball better.
Okay.
And he's the one that put the pitch clock in along with some other rules that I'm not 100% aware. I'm not a baseball guy. So if I screw this up, people, that's just my ignorance.
Probably something to do with like fan engagement or something.
Yeah, but he was saying, because I was listening to him on the radio today, he was talking about how if you watch the last World Series, a pitcher took 4 minutes between a pitch.
Yeah.
That was the average that he'd take 4 minutes before he threw a ball again. And then he said he went and watched the 75 World Series where they were pitching like every 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And he said it just made there was just more of a smoother ball. And he made a great point that when they introduced the 24-hour shot clock in basketball, nobody seems, it just becomes something that nobody even pays attention to anymore. It's just part of the game. The game flows better.
Yeah. So well, when we were watching the Super Bowl, and my kids who don't watch football, they're like, wait, why are there 2 clocks on the screen? Like what's going on with the shorter clock? I'm like, well, that's how long they have to be in the huddle.
Right.
And if they take longer than that, they get a thing called a delay of game. And it was interesting because along the same argument that you and I have had going back and forth about soccer, where you're like, soccer's a slow sport because there's just not a lot happening. And like I've felt that before. It's like you see guys walking, like here's a guy at the top of the screen and he's just walking.
Right.
But that clock is always running. Like it never stops.
It never stops. Not for injury. Does it stop for injury?
No, I don't know. I'll take that back. I don't know if it stops for injury, but like if the ball is in play, like out of bounds, and then the guy's got to go inbound the ball again, it's still going. And that I think is an interesting way to have a game. And because then those athletes are always working. Maybe they're not always running, but they're still watching. They're like, they've got to have their mind on the game where, football, when you're walking back to the huddle or jogging back to the huddle, you're like, okay. And active play in football is much shorter than I think.
Didn't somebody measure how much football is actually played?
Absolutely. I know it's been done. And I know that when I was a freshman in high school.
Yeah.
And we had conditioning with this slave driver of a defensive coordinator who was also our conditioning coach. And he was shouting at us that you rest longer than you play all the time.
I think, he's right.
Because he is right. I mean, and that, that just stuck in my head.
They're like little bursts.
Yeah. Like the average play.
And they're like
4-second
bursts. Like they're not that long. Yeah. So, yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So we're not going to talk about sports.
Let's talk about Harry Potter stuff. Let's talk about nerdy stuff.
Actually, I wanted to ask you. Did you see Ant-Man?
I did. Yeah, we went and saw it today.
Okay. You want to give a review?
We want to go on that first. I will give it a review, and thank you for reminding me. I got to put it on. I have a running list of things that I've watched that I'm watching in 2023. I'll post a link to it. It's on via IMDb, and it's just stuff I'm watching in 2023. So it's a lot of good stuff. I did IMDb because now I can fit TV in there as well. So overall review, and this will be non-spoilery unless you get deep into the questions. For me, a Marvel film, their lowest of the low is Love and Thunder.
Okay.
And
what's their high? What's their high for you?
Oh, like what's my favorite Marvel film?
Sure. Or I mean, if you're gonna have this scale, obviously Love and Thunder is the worst of the worst, right?
Worst Marvel film I've ever seen.
Okay. Yeah. And then the top is what?
I've always Captain America First Avenger. Okay. I will watch that any given day. Okay. Like that's partially because of my love of the character, but like Endgame and Infinity War, I mean, those are phenomenal films for just popcorn rides. I mean, is it Shakespeare? No, not saying it is, but just popcorn rides. They're fun films to watch. And I felt Marvel had lost that with Love and Thunder and Wakanda Forever. Like I did not like those films at all. Okay. So for me, it's like, here's Love and Thunder way down here. And then right above that is Wakanda Forever. I mean, that's how I was starting to lose faith in the Marvel universe. Okay. This has restored it. Like Ant-Man, I know critically it is not done well, but like the audiences love it, and I can see why. It's fun to watch. It's got some, I mean, not heart-wrenching moments in there. I didn't ever, I take that back. I did feel like there were times where I'm like, oh, are they going to kill
them all? Yeah.
Are they going to kill this character or kill that character? Because I mean, sure, let's off that person. That seems about time. things of that nature. And I'm like, are we gonna or are we gonna trap somebody in a bubble again, or whatever it is? Um, and yeah, there was an element of fear of what's going to happen to, our heroes. There were enough hero moments that made me go, that was cool. There was enough battle modes like, that's cool. That was a fun
Oh,
one.
so you enjoyed it?
I really did. I really did.
Awesome. I was, you know
So
what, Greg? It's so funny. I was so scared to hear your review because I'm with you in terms of Marvel letting us down.
yeah.
And my first thought was, I had two thoughts about Phase 4. Phase 4, was it the artsy fartsy? Let's try to see what we can do because we
Yeah.
got everybody. Let's just see how far we can push this. And I don't know if that was the plan or if, because my first thought was, if Phase 4 never existed besides Spider-Man No Way Home,
Right.
would you miss it?
Not really.
Could you jump from Phase 3 to
I would
Phase
miss
5 and not miss a damn thing?
Is Loki still Phase 4? Is he considered
Oh,
Phase 4?
yes, he is. Okay, so Loki and
Loki, I liked Moon Knight for what it was, but
Spider-Man.
that's separated from so much of the other stuff.
Right.
Like, it's almost not
right. And Werewolf by
connected.
Night, we both enjoyed that.
Yep. So I was wondering, I mean, there's two post-credit scenes. So there's a one where they've got like the animated credits, and then there's a scene, and then there's the regular scrolling credits, and then there's a little mini scene at the end.
Okay.
And I was wondering, like, because we saw Kang, or we saw a version of Kang in Loki, and when he was he who remains.
He who remains, yes.
And you're like, well, how does, like, are we supposed to put this together? Like,
yeah, he was the nice one.
Yeah, and so
From
throughout the film,
yeah,
like the actual film, not the post credits, throughout the film, I'm like, okay, well, this is obviously not related. Like, they exist separately. And then through the post credit scenes, they kind of tie it in a little bit. So yeah, I can see where, I mean, Kang from the comics is a badass. Like, he takes on like the entire Avengers all the time, or like he did all the time. He had Fantastic Four. He was a villain there. And they struggle with him. So I'm like, how's Ant-Man gonna do?
Yeah.
Against Kang? And it works out well. His Kang's backstory and how it works into Ant-Man is really cool. With that kind of the Ant-Man team, because now you've got Hank Pym, you've got his
Janet.
wife, Janet Van Dyne, or no, Janet, no, his daughter is Hope. So you've got Janet, you've got Hope, you've got Scott, and now you've got Scott's daughter,
Cassie, that's right.
Cassie, who in the comics is also a hero. She becomes like an Ant-Man giant girl kind of hero as well. And how they work all that in, I had fun with it. Like, I wasn't checking.
That's what it's about. It's about having fun watching a Marvel movie. Yeah, good.
I wasn't checking my watch at all. And at the end of it, I'm like, okay, I want more. Yep. I can't wait to get to the next Marvel.
Very cool. Now I'm very excited to see this.
So
I was going to wait the 40 days, depending on your review. Now I think I'm going to go see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd go see it on the big screen. And Matt got some new projectors in. So
cool. And
Matt, if you're listening, I forgot to tell you, looked great. Looked fantastic. So yeah, it was a fun film.
Good. I'm actually shocked. I was expecting doom and gloom. I really was.
I kind of was too. I was
okay. Is that why maybe you think it?
Nope. I don't think I don't think it's like I was going in with no expectations, and so now that it was an okay film, I have higher than it was a solid Marvel film. Is it the best one I ever saw? No, it's certainly not the worst one.
That's all that matters, really.
yeah. I mean, and yeah, I liked, you know what? Here's one. I liked it better than Ant-Man 2.
Oh, okay.
So
Ant-Man 2 wasn't really. I think a lot of people watched Ant-Man 2 to see how it tied into Endgame.
Yeah.
Or Infinity War or whatever. I forgot where that placed. But
and like you said, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was okay. You know, this was good. I liked it.
Awesome. So you've heard from the Greg, man. Ant-Man was good. It was good.
definitely
a solid, good movie. He walked
check it
out
out.
happy. Walked out happy. Cool. I thought that review was going to take a little bit longer. So let's but you know what? I forgot. We have to talk about kind of what happened this weekend, or last weekend, I should say at this point. The
2 days ago
came down. We went to a Harry Potter and the Magic World thing in Watertown Place.
Because we're gonna tag it. We really should figure out what it's called.
Figure out what it is. Yeah.
Harry Potter Chicago. Yeah, Water Tower Place, which is a downtown shopping mall that they just Harry Potter Magic at Play is what it was called. Because it's Magic at Play and that it's interactive.
Yes. I thought it was way better than I thought it was going to be. When we first started walking in there, I thought, oh shit, this is going to suck. But it got better because you got to actually do things that I thought you wouldn't be able to do, take pictures that were cool, do some fun things that was very interactive, and my daughter had a great time. And that's really what it's about, to be honest.
It is. And by the way, boom, there you go. Johnny and his sorting hat.
Oh, is that why? Did you get that from my wife?
No, but these were the pictures that we all, because
how come I'm under Gryffindor?
What would you like to be under? I got all of them.
Oh no, I didn't know. But see, that's what's funny. My wife said to me, where should we go? Because it's asking for that. And I was like, I said, Gryffindor. I don't know.
No, the picture package that we bought, which is just, I bought all of the pictures that we took with that little scanning card. Those sorting hat pictures, they give you one for each house. So I have 4 of you.
4 for each person.
Yeah. That same pose that they just gave me different frames for.
Yeah.
So
Greg, you would know this better than I would. What house would I actually be sorted into, you think?
Probably Gryffindor.
Yeah. I'm that cavalier.
Well, I took a quiz on Pottermore. There's a quiz.
Oh, there's a quiz. Okay.
There's an official, but as you're like, you can cheat the quiz, honestly, as you're reading the questions.
Yeah.
And they're like,
you could cheat it to go wherever you want to go.
Kind of. It's like, how would you solve a problem? Would you take action? Would you think it through? Would you let your heart lead the way, or would you be devious?
I see. Okay.
Well, devious is going to be the Slytherin one.
Yeah, Slytherin for sure.
The data is Ravenclaw. The feeling away is Hufflepuff, and take actions Gryffindor. So you can
figure it out. Figure it out pretty fast. Okay. All right. Just curious.
But you didn't do any of the broom pictures.
No. I felt the pressure of other people.
I mean, come on,
waiting behind us.
Come on, look at that.
Look at that.
Look
at that sexy beast. You can tell that dude's been all pro.
Put that up. That's
he's so good, folks. He
MVP
wears jeans when he plays.
Yeah, that's MVP card. That's Do you have the Shrilly MVP card for his Quidditch? I mean, do you have it?
That's ridiculous. What was funny is your daughter wore green socks.
Oh, yes.
And so when we went on green screens, it came off as she had no ankles.
She had no ankles, and that was
they just disappeared. So they were magic ankles. Yeah. Good thing she didn't wear a green sweater or something. That would have sucked.
That she could have. I mean, and honestly, I could have too, which would have been. I would have been upset. I would have been like, "Oh man,
damn it!" Yeah,
but it was fun. It's. I liked it because it's like a Harry Potter thing that didn't break the bank, and like it's well done for the space that they was in.
Absolutely.
I mean, here's our group shot, and like this backdrop. I mean, this is all real. This isn't just like paper. I mean, they brought in a stained glass window.
Yep, that's true.
They
didn't even get the candles up above us.
Oh yeah, that's
you can barely see these little white lines coming down. Those are
the floating candles. But it was a quality thing that they had put some real production quality behind.
Look at Krista. I'll go back.
Sorry.
You don't have to, no, don't worry about that. Have you noticed that when girls take a picture, they stick their knee out, they pose? Guys just stand wherever the hell they are and they just
I can tell
smile.
your wife has hers pushed out there too. It's behind.
That's what I'm saying. That's so funny. Like, who teaches them that?
I don't know. No one ever taught me how to take a picture other than just stand there.
That's what I'm saying.
Even when I was like, it was take a picture. Nope. Pull your chin back. And you just sit there, and that's
really.
That's
they even told you that?
I was told that a couple of times. Like, can you
pull your chin back?
Yeah.
Really?
And so for years, I have a couple of pictures of me like that. Yeah, kind of like, and so then every roll just kind of pushes right out, and I'm like, no, I don't. I need to stop doing that. I need to.
The only time I ever learned anything about a camera is when I went to get my headshots because I wanted to be an actor.
Oh yeah.
And he told me, like, look directly into the lens to where you try to see the film of the camera.
Yeah,
that's the only thing. That's the only thing he told me. Tell me anything else. So that's the only thing I learned about, like, when you take a picture, look directly into the lens, like I'm doing right now, and try to look way back into that film,
into your soul.
Yes.
I remember I for some reason had to accompany my brother when he got his senior pictures done. And he went to a much better place than I did to get his senior pictures. And like the guy was training him. He was like, okay, nope, put your hand here. Give me a full smile. Give me a half smile. Just give me like he was trying to
there you go.
Coach Kurt into like how to work with the camera and stuff like that. And so I thought that's what I was gonna get. And this lady's like 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're moving on. I was like, wait, don't we is that gonna be okay?
Yeah. Don't I get some feedback?
No? Yeah, nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
All right. Yeah, but it was a fun time for sure.
It was totally worth it. I mean, if you get a chance, it
really was. How much was it, Greg? I don't remember.
Well,
like 30 per person.
Yeah, like something like that. Because we did
well worth it then.
We were a group of 8. So like your wife and your daughter got their tickets separate, and I threw you in with my family so we could get because a group of 6 was a 10% discount. So so that's how all that worked out. But yeah, I mean, if you're a fan, if you're even like half a fan, don't go. Like if you if you're an actual fan of the books and or the films, then it's a cool little excursion for you to take.
Do you have a picture? Maybe you don't have the picture. There's a picture of Gwen, and I don't know if Ursula just took it with her phone. But there's a picture of Gwen where she's in the hidden forest or the dark forest where you need the lanterns. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I do, but I don't have a picture.
Okay.
Of that, so
the way my daughter's cocking her head, and she took a picture behind Fluffy.
Okay.
It looks like the dog's picking her up by the neck.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh my God. And Ursula's like, it looks like the dog's attacking her. I'm like, it really does. We didn't even plan that. That's just how it looks.
I mean, we shared the album.
So then Ursula took her own private picture.
Okay. You know what? Maybe because I was just looking at my pictures. Maybe if it's
maybe she's up, I can text her.
Yeah, tell her to dump all those pictures into that shared album because I want to see those. Yeah, the shared album, because the shared album's got also a lot of stuff that my daughter took. So here, I got one up now. You guys where people can see the floating candles.
Okay, cool.
So when you walked in, this was a much bigger room than what it just looks like.
There you go. Look at that.
You can kind of see it's just fishing line holding it up. But when you walk in and the way you can't tell, it looks cool.
Oh, it definitely looks cool. They really worked hard on it. It looked great, I thought.
It was fun. It was a good time.
Oh, my wife, I guess, was just watching the show. She was mad. She said, "Take the Christmas lights down from your background."
Or light them up. I mean,
or light them up.
For the thing here.
Yeah. So, maybe she's still break a leg, not your back. Thanks, honey. You're sweet. Anywho, yeah. So that was Harry Potter. Had fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I got a question for you, Greg. And I think we're already in an hour. Are we already in an hour?
Well, we came on a little late, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah. I have a question for you, and I was asking this yesterday. Is ice cream the best invention ever? Think about it. I mean, I'm sure there's some people out there that don't like ice cream, for sure.
Sir, so here's the thing. One, I got to remember that I don't eat or weigh what I used to.
Right.
Because like we went out to dinner that night and then we went out for ice cream and I was stuffed at dinner. Like I should have not eaten anything.
Not only were we stuffed at dinner, we got stuffed at breakfast the next following day.
Oh my God.
I don't know what the hell happened.
We're going to talk about that place in a second.
Yeah,
so yeah, like we go out for ice cream and I'm like, I want ice cream. Like I want an ice cream. We're at this very niche place that's down by John's place. And I'm looking around. I'm like, what do I want? Like, I don't want a ton, but for some reason my eyes locked in on the banana split and like my childhood came back to me. And I was like, we're going to do a banana split. Yeah, let's do that. And I'm like, it's only
you all of a sudden switched on vacation mode.
I did.
Yeah.
And they did like, they're like, well, it's only a 2-scoop banana split. I'm like, perfect. That'll be great.
Yeah.
So chocolate, vanilla, hot fudge. It'll be good. And then I got into that. I had half of 1 scoop and all of a sudden I was like, you're an idiot. Like, what are you doing? And I muscled through like another probably 5 or 6 bites. And then I got to that point. It's funny. There's a comedian, not Nikki Glazer.
Hang on, Greg, look at this real quick.
Oh, I can't.
Do you see Fluffy
yes,
like picking her up by the neck?
That is fantastic.
Yes, I'll send that to you. Because I thought that's hilarious.
So this female comedian's name female
escaping you right now.
What an asshole I am. This comedian's name will come to me in a second because I'm currently looking it up. But she has a thing about when women are out on a date and they can feel when they've hit like their full point.
Okay.
Like, and she calls it the thickening. And I laugh my ass. She's like, we can tell our bras just get tight. Everything's fine. All of a sudden, and we're like, it's nothing you did. You did great, but I need to go home and cry. Like that's how I felt when after
the Sunday,
after ice cream. Like because then you guys were making fun of me for like ordering such a big Sunday. I'm like, no, it'll be fine. And then I had a bite and just felt something happen in my stomach.
Yeah.
That was just like, fuck you, you're done. It was just like, I was like, oh my God, what was that? Oh, I don't feel good. This was a bad idea. And and that was it. And I think I experienced the thickening.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that for sure. Cause I was shocked by the size that came with it. Now, I doubt you thought it was going to be that big either.
I really didn't.
Yeah.
I mean,
but then when I saw, I was like, holy I mean, it was this long.
Yeah. Well, 2 full bananas,
deep,
cut down the middle with 2 healthy size scoops of ice cream. Like they weren't trying to, skimp on anything there.
Right.
And I ordered hot fudge. So they smothered it in hot fudge and everything else. And it was a lot. Like I should have just got the 1 scoop of strawberry that I was planning on and called it a day, but I didn't.
Yeah.
But the breakfast place we went to was another shocker. Like going into there, and it was called the Brunch Factory. Which is that river? Where were we?
We were on Milwaukee Avenue and River Road in basically Buffalo Grove. It was still Buffalo Grove.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was just a place that I had driven by as we were on our way to Chicago. I'm like, hey, there's a brunch place that looks like it, and it was new. They had grand opening banners on it. I'm like, new brunch place. Maybe we'll check that out. And then when we couldn't go to our other like place we thought we were going to go because it was like a crazy long wait,
2-hour wait standing.
Yeah. Yep. We just called that place and it worked out. So we went. the omelet. So you and I both got the same omelet,
Mm-hmm.
the meat omelet, which was bacon, sausage, ham, and cheese.
Yes.
It came out. It was the size of a Nerf football.
He's not really kidding. He's not kidding, folks. It was huge. And look, in my 20s, I could have pounded that down in a second, but my God, that was a lot of food.
Yeah, Eliza Schlesinger is the name of the comedian.
Yes. Okay, I know her. Yeah.
Hilarious woman.
Yeah.
I watch every special.
I agree.
But yeah, this omelet was like I immediately went, I'm not eating all that. Like
yeah.
Not even gonna try.
Like you knew automatically. Yeah. You're like, no way this is going down all in one time.
Like they brought out that. I had a side of hash browns, and then it came with 2 pancakes. And I was like, I'm gonna eat half the omelet if I can, maybe half the hash browns, and I'm not touching the pancakes.
Right.
Like I had to just be okay with that.
Yep. Yeah.
And yeah, it was
good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it was really good, but it was just way too much to the point. Like Greg and I asked, we were like, "How many eggs did you use for this omelet?"
Because it looked like a dozen. It looked like they used a dozen eggs, and she's like, "It's some technique they have to get them super fluffy."
Yeah,
and I believe it.
Well, she said they go by ounces. They measure an omelet by the ounce.
Yeah.
So whatever, I think it was 6 ounces or something.
I think that's what she said.
Like that.
Yeah.
It's still a lot of
eggs. It was a lot there. So growing up, and right next to my hometown of Broadhead, there's a town called Orfordville, which is even smaller than Broadhead.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe about the size. Well, no, it's bigger than the town I live in now. Yeah. But back then, not by much. But they had, little corner restaurants and like a bar here and whatever. There was a place called Lyle's, and we used to go there for breakfast. And I thought Lyle's was what an omelet should be.
Okay.
And it was literally the measure of every omelet that I had ever had since then. So like we would go do Lyle's for breakfast, and then we'd usually go do something else for the day. But if we're going to Lyle's, it was a big deal. Got the ham and cheese omelet. I could kill it when I was a teenager, but it was that good. Every omelet I've ever had since then has been good, but it hasn't been Lyle's. You know what I mean? Like you got that.
Yeah,
you got
of course.
That. Brunch Factory is now my new standard of.
Wow.
Like that's how.
Congratulations, Brunch Factory. Wow.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, just
think about this for a second, though. A regular cup you have, Greg, a regular standard kitchen cup is 8 ounces, right? 8 ounces of water. Think of what that is, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Take 2 ounces less, and that's how much egg filled up that cup and was poured into an omelet.
Is still amazing.
It still doesn't seem like it was enough for what we got.
No.
But that is a lot of eggs.
But everything that our whole party got, down to your daughter's crepes. I'm like, everything here looks fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I actually disagree. I did not like the crepes, but I'm being picky.
You tried it, right?
Oh yeah, I tried it, but there is a crepe I had in San Francisco at Pier 39 or 38. I can't remember what number it was. It was 30 something, high 30 something, where I had it every single day. We had to make a stop every day for me to go get that crepe, and nothing's compared to it since.
See, and that's
your line.
That's your standard, and everything's got to be based off of that.
So when I tried that crepe at hers, I thought it was too thick.
Really too thick for a crepe?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever ordered crepes from a restaurant. Like I've had them, but when I'm going out for breakfast, I don't think I'll have the crepe.
Neither do I, actually. In fact, I've changed my way of eating and my way of thinking of, because I think of food now more as a fuel versus, because I know that, okay, if I just have a crepe in hour and a half, I'm going to be hungry.
Yeah.
And I know that I don't want to do that. But back in like when you're on vacation, whatever, have fun. Try things you would never try.
My daughter ordered Oreo pancakes.
Yeah. She was hungry a half hour later.
Yep. And it was It was candy. It was pure candy breakfast.
It was, yes.
And like it was crushed up Oreos.
That is the time to have it though when you're a kid.
Yeah. Like I looked at, like, even as an adult, I looked at that and I go, no, like I'm not. I wouldn't order that.
Okay. I get the fact that she was young and she's a kid.
Yeah.
When you looked at that, did you sit there and think to yourself, "Oh my God, I'd get sick to my stomach." I'd almost throw up on that.
Well,
I think that's how I felt.
They put Oreos in the pancake, like they
and everywhere around it.
Everywhere. Well, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't just like a crumbled,
right?
Like they didn't powder, like put Oreos in a blender, powder them, and just sprinkle them over the top of the pancake. It was, they had like a full Oreo cookie baked into the pancake. And I looked at that. I'm like, is that baked in there?
She did good too.
She did.
She pounded that down.
Oh yeah. Well, she's in middle school. They can pound through anything.
That's true. Yeah.
But when I saw that old, like soggy, moist Oreo cookie in there, I went, is that baked in there? She goes, yeah. I'm like, no. Like I would just have a texture issue with that. And I wouldn't touch it.
Okay, I hear you. I'm not that big of a fan of Oreos to have that much of them.
No. I mean,
I think three would be my max with like a cup of coffee now.
Every once in a while, I'll do like the Oreos and milk.
Yeah.
But even after I do, I feel bloated.
Like, right. It's not, I agree with you.
The one thing that when you talk about like candy for breakfast, like what's your vacation? I always want French toast. French toast with fruit.
Yes, you're right.
Like it sounds amazing. I always want it, but like my adult brain jumps in and says it's not a good idea. Like that's
I agree with you. I don't have fun anymore with breakfast because I've engineered my brain to think this is what's setting you up for energy the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Like if you just poison and I don't mean by poison, but if you just fill yourself up with sugar and just sugar it's like the McDonald's thing. You're going to be hungry.
Yeah. Not only like
in 90 minutes.
If all you're eating is fry bread with pie filling, I mean, which is a lot of that stuff French toast kind of is.
Yep.
I mean, I'm going to have an upset stomach.
Right.
If I'm eating at 8, I've got an upset stomach at 10.
Right.
But
you do have a great little system now because you can just try it because your kids are at the age where they can eat anything and keep going.
Yeah.
You now can say, you know what? I'll have one bite of that French toast.
Can I try that? And I've got one daughter, my oldest daughter, is all about sharing food. Like because she looks at the whole menu. She's like, so much stuff looks good. I want to try it all.
Right.
And so she wants to try everybody's stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I used to find it really annoying because it's the whole Joey doesn't share food kind of thing. Like I ordered this. This is mine. That has changed now that I ordered a steak on Saturday night.
Yes.
And I brought some home. So like if it's no longer no, this is mine. I'm going to finish all of this.
Right.
It's like, I'm not going to finish all this. Yeah. You can try some. I don't care.
Yeah. I am a little bit like that with you. There are still some moments where here's the thing, actually, if you ask me, I will gladly share it. If you just come over and if you come over and invade my territory, now we got a problem.
I did steal a fry from you on Saturday night.
The fries don't bother me. There's so many of them and I never eat fries. But if it's like, I don't know, if it's like, let's say I order tacos. If you were to grab a taco without asking me to bite it, I would have been pissed. But if you asked, hey man, can I try something like that? I'd be like, go for it. I would not care. And what's funny is I have a 3-year-old daughter or a 4-year-old daughter who will do that and it still upsets me. And I have to check myself. I'm like, it's your daughter, dude. Chill. It's your daughter.
Since my kids are older, if they want to try alcoholic drinks, which I'm all for them to figure out what's good, what's bad, so they're not doing it in like a college basement somewhere.
Right.
But if I get like a beer flight where all the beers are like a little bit smaller and there's
and they take a sip,
5 or 6 of them, and the whole table wants to try it, I'm like, no. This is I want this is mine.
No, these are mine.
So that's, I mean, and even when we got those, what were they, Long Beach iced teas or whatever,
those were good.
Those were fantastic.
Those are good.
And all 3 of my kids, can I try it? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Partially because it was a $15 drink. And it's mine.
Yeah.
So.
All right, man. I think we've run our time.
Yeah, we're about an hour.
Yeah, we're there. All right, Greg, sign us out, sir.
Oh gosh. Well, you know how it's going to end, but I don't know. Just before I came back on, we're in nice weather right now, but it looks like we're going to get hit with another snowstorm like midweek or something like that.
No, that's depressing.
And that's
nothing like shoveling with a bad back.
Well, it's snowstorm, good. And then all of a sudden it's like 50 degrees and now we're going to get hit with another one. That's when people can get mad. That's when people can get salty. And if that happens to you, then just don't be a douche.
There you go. So for the Greg, this is Johnny saying thank you very much for watching. Have a good week. Podcast out, everyone. Take care. All right.